there, good morning. It's a little later this morning. I went for my walk real early. I left my house at 5:30 this morning to take my morning walk because I had to go to the physical therapist for my hand, and my hand is coming along really good. Even the therapist, who I saw just Monday, was like, wow, look at all the movement, look at all the change. I said, well, yeah, I told you, I started Breatharian. I haven't eaten for 2 days, and I've been doing my urinarian thing, and so my improvements are rapidly showing. Funny how it works, huh? And so actually now I've got her in conversation. I've got, got a total turnaround on her. And the guy who drove me today, my driver, he kind of opened a conversation because he's talking about his arthritis, and I totally cured my arthritis in 10 days. So I opened up that conversation. And so the whole way there and the whole way back, we were talking about breatharian but more important, urine therapy. And he went so far. This is in the time it took him to drive me from my house to the appointment, that by the time we got there, he had gone, he went and peed in a cup, and he started urine therapy. Yeah, he did, just like that. So I thought, this is the thing. I'm totally confident in my belief that once people get past their limitations, get their mind shit out of the way, and understand that what they're doing is healthy, that it isn't disgusting, it isn't foul, it isn't wrong. It's none of those things. It's completely the opposite. We've been led down the wrong trail. Sorry to say, folks, but greed has led us down the wrong trail. It's surpassed our needs. What people really need is to be cured, and all that's really happening is they're being treated. And that's what all the medicine's about. And that's what all the procedures are about. That's what everything's about, is treatment, when we can actually cure ourselves. Now, I think that's just a shame, that we aren't being told the truth because of greed. And that's the truth. I'm telling you the truth there. So, Weedu SHIVAMBU coming to you live with his beautiful nectar. Day 3 of my FAST and URINOUS experience, my adventure, and it's awesome. This is day 3, and I'm just on fire. Yeah, I'm perfectly convinced at this point, and I mean it when I say this. I may never eat again. I don't know. I've got my head wrapped around it pretty good at this point, of that I want to be a self-sustainable unit completely. Now, I've been on, disability for years now, and that's and I've had a lot of distress. My body's gone through a lot. And I've worn many different braces: neck braces, arm braces, leg braces, back braces. I've gone through tons of different pharmaceuticals. I've changed so many things over time, and now I see how I'm becoming a self-sustainable unit. And when I can get to the clarity of this, and it's all a mind thing, it's all about the mind. I'm completely convinced my body, at this point, my body feels totally prepared for what I'm doing. I mean, doesn't even question. It's like not eating is a no deal for my body. So all I had to do is make it a no-brainer. Change my mind, get around the mind thing. And I think I'm doing that. I know I'm doing that. I've got a totally different mindset about it. I'm not looking at it like, I just tore off the rearview mirrors, quite frankly. I'm just driving ahead. And so that feels really good. Yeah, it does. It feels really good. And so when I was walking this morning, I was thinking, about how my whole life was so wrapped up in food. Now, I started working in the food industry at 14. My very first earliest jobs, I was working as a food prep and dishwasher in a restaurant at 14. And I started helping my mother catering parties. And I was working in the industry right from the get-go. And I became a professional chef. I was chefing a restaurant at 20 years old in New York City. I've run big hotels. I've done tons of catering. I had clients on Park Avenue, and I had clients in Beverly Hills. I worked at the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Bel Air Hotel, I mean. And so everything about my life was about food, from an early age and a career wise. And so it was always in my consciousness, no matter what. And so bringing all of that forth for, really literally 50 some years plus, was, it's pretty ingrained. It becomes it's my identity. It's who I was. And, so to walk away from that is like huge. To make a mind shift from that is like dramatic. And so the way I'm looking at it now, and especially when I went just to fruitarian and no more cooked food, it took it all out of equation. So that was 3 months ago. So I haven't cooked any food for 3 months, none. And so now I just stop and eating altogether. It just all seems so right in the program, right on the path, so easy, effortless at this point. I've totally changed my mind, and that's all it is. I just had to do that because the mind is what gets you into most situations and gets us into pleasure or pain and gets us into places we might not want to be. So I'm totally changing my identity. And by doing so, it takes on a whole new paradigm for me because I no longer associate myself with food. I no longer associate myself with drinking. I no longer associate myself with smoking or doing construction or doing, all these things. I'm stripping all of those identities away. And I'm starting to find who I am. I'm looking at the core. I'm going for, I'm going for the core. That's what I'm going for. I want to find out who I really am, not all the things I've done. That has nothing to do with anything. So this morning, what happened, in addition, this is crazy cool. When I first woke up this morning and got out of bed, now I do a little reading things. I have a couple of ceremonial things I do reading wise. And so after I did that, I get up and I usually, get down. I turn on my computers and take a look. And if well, I won't tell you my routine. That's not the point. The point is when I turned on the computer and started looking, all I could see was this bright light, and it was coming from within. And my eyes were completely focused on the bright light where I couldn't even make out the numbers or letters or anything. I couldn't make out the stuff on the screen for several moments. I was just sitting there staring at it and going, wow, this is really wild. And then I went and took my shower, and I had my eyes closed when I was doing my hair. And all of a sudden it was like bright, 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 bright light. I mean, it was just like, bam. And so I just kept my eyes closed for several minutes because I realized I was dealing with my golden vibe, my orb, my pineal gland. I could tell it was opening. I could see that it was opening. And the clarity was coming through. So I thought, man, this is really groovy. Good times, man. Really groovy stuff right there. So it's good. Day by day, it's showing its own. I feel like I'm just being born again, like as a completely new person, just totally regenerating as a brand new person. And that's really cool. So I also wanted to just mention, about my stunt doubles because, again, it's an identity thing. Now, for my whole life, I mean, I had a name. I was given this name and a certificate in capital letters that told me who I was. But it took me a long time to find what really got my soul and my creativity and other things in harnessed. And so it was based on Tibetan numerology, of all things, from some friends that came up with Casey Caban. And I totally resonated to Casey Caban. Now, my real name is Casey, by the way, but I just spell it differently now. And but what was cool about that is that it inspired so many levels. You know, in my writing, I'd been writing for a long time before that, but I took it on as a new AKA, as my stunt double. And I really excelled. I really liked who Casey Caban represented to me as a performer, as a writer, as an artist, as a producer, as a filmmaker, and all that. So when I started drinking my urine, all of a sudden, I just out of nowhere comes this idea of Weedu SHIVAMBU. And I'm thinking, like, that's a fun name, you know, because I've always been into a sense of humor and making shit up as I go along. So I just thought, well, that's a fun name. I think I'll use it. And I did. I immediately started using it. I put it into this YouTube. I put it into my Facebook, and it became another whole persona, a completely new stunt double. And, you know, my friend Casey Caban, he produces him. You know, so just so you understand who Casey and Weedu are, you know, they're two completely just separate entities in the same. They're my stunt doubles. So I hope that makes sense. So one last thing, I want to share something with you here. Now I've been doing this, starting to do this, and I think I'm going to keep doing this because I have mass archives of my poetry and my work, and as they appear to me in relative fashion of how much they mean to me at this point in the pursuit I'm doing with my urine therapy and my breatharian. Well, urinarian is exactly how I'm going to term it for now. I'm just kind of keep clarifying it so people understand. But I am a urinarian, because I'm just living on pee and air. So now that we got that out of the way, now this is a poem I wrote again. Some of these I didn't put the dates on them because I always wrote longhand. Everything's in longhand. And so when I typed them out, I didn't put any of that information on the pages. So that's why. But this is something I wrote called When You Beat Yourself Up. And this was a while back, you know, many years. So I'm going to share it with you if that's okay, if I may. So this is entitled When You Beat Yourself Up. Are judgments affecting the choices you make? Like every new move will be a mistake. Choices. It's a marvel. There's no end in sight. Who's in the know of what choices are right? Is there an outcome you possibly dread with high definition inside your head? Did we follow orders? Did we make up our own? When you're in your temple, do you sit on the throne? Does someone command you with guilt-ridden shame, a prisoner of illusion, and you are to blame? Just baggage that's shuffled from shoulder to hand. It's a safety position when shit hits the fan. Does judgment reduce the risk that you'll take? How many moves will you have to fake? Shall I feel sorry for all that I've done? Perhaps go to my room and stop having fun? Can I really listen to everyone's view? Aren't some of my choices giving me clues? Should I eat tofu and go to the gym? Drink diet soda as a way to keep slim? Drink beer for breakfast or eat KFC? Light up and breathe deep and see what I see? Can anyone's judgment possibly be sound when fear is the basis and there's no evidence found? Everyone is different, which makes us the same. Way too much data to compute in the brain. There's too many choices, and I get so confused. What method of judgment should I possibly use? If I beat myself up and let you do it too, is it a fair match if I do it to you? As judgment inflicts us with deep-rooted pain, and we pass a judgment expecting a change, the cycle is vicious. There's no way to win. When you beat yourself up over and over again. So, there it is. Just like that. So, that's all I want to say. I just want to wish you a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. I hope that, love and light shine on you. We're getting sunshine. It's starting to happen, and I'm excited about that. So with all that being said, boom, you've just been loved. Enjoy it.